Live to the world on a Tuesday night. It's those two assholes and another asshole. How are you, gentlemen? Kids on the Escalator for Tuesday night. Hello. Good to see you, gents. Good to see you. Listen, we're not going to waste any time. We got really rad guests coming on. But first, Michael, with the announcement of the week. Go.
What's the announcement of the week? It was
putting you on the spot, buddy.
Well, you're referring to my post yesterday. Well, I was trying to. I wanted to tell you guys, but I've picked up a new channel. Actually, I've picked up 3 properties, but the one I can talk about is Showcase, baby. Thanks to the peeps at Chorus. I'm the new promo voice at Showcase channel, whatever.
Does this mean that you're going to be doing Dexter promos, Mike?
I don't know. I don't know the exact lineup, but I have, ironically, done a promo for for their next Star Wars marathon that's happening in the next 2 weeks. So,
did you throw on the end of it? Or you could tune in Tuesday nights on the Kids on the Escalator podcast for all your Star Wars shit.
I will say this has been a really cool process because this has been for a couple of months now, and we've just been sort of working on transitioning a whole bunch of material, like doing a whole lot of promos. So, tagging all the stuff that was there. And last week, I think it was last week or maybe the week before, we had to do all the disclaimers for the channel, which you would think, how many different combinations of the following program may contain scenes of violence, coarse language, nudity, sexual content. You would think couldn't be that many. There were 34 different variations on a theme, and each one had to have a specific genre read to it, so they can run in front of a drama, in front of a comedy, in front of an action film. So that was a couple of hours to the point where I'm going to bed and all I can hear in my head is viewer discretion is advised. Viewer discretion is advised. The following sleep may contain scenes of nudity. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, congratulations.
Saying it out loud to everybody, right?
Yeah. Congratulations. And you should probably do a disclaimer. You should probably do a disclaimer for this show. So we're going to put you on the spot. Here you go, Mike, 3, 2, 1. And disclaimer for Kids on the Escalator podcast.
The following program may contain scenes of violence, coarse language, nudity, nerdity, and some swearing here and there. Viewer discretion is advised. However, recommended, maybe not. Just go all out. It's going to be fun. There you go.
Needs a little work. It needs a little work.
What have I told you guys?
It was going well.
I read scripts.
Right. All right. So it's been a busy week. It's been a busy week. We got a few things to get to. Chris, do we want to do a Skeletron update at the end, or do you want to just give a quick little what you've been up to? Because I know you're working on 7 things right now.
We're almost sold out. I got a couple issues kicking around the house. There's 2 issues down at the. I dropped 2 off today at Nexus Comics. Downtown Kingston. Today I dropped those off, so there's 2 available there anyway. But there's a few left here, but I don't know. We're under 10. I know that for sure. So basically, what we're doing now is working on issue 2. It's already done. We're just going back over it. It's being edited, and then I'm actually been working on issue 4 there, doing some stuff there. So we're up to issue 4. And of course, we're doing the novelization of a book out of the UK, which is a lot of work, man. But it's so much fun. But I am in the comic book world. I'm driving around, and I don't realize I'm driving. Like I get to where I'm going, and I don't remember driving there because I'm thinking about all the stuff I'm doing and all the stories. And holy cow, it's really cool.
For our gentlemen,
wait! I got a BMX bike for my birthday, and holy cow!
I saw that picture. Yeah, very nice.
Thank you. I was going to hurt myself.
Gentlemen in the waiting room. Chris here is a comic book artist, recently released Skeletron to the world, and it's killing it, and I think it's sold out, basically. So rad. Always great to have a comic book published artist on board, and we're stoked for that. So before we get to our gentlemen in the waiting room, it's 2 weeks in a row for our listeners on the Star Wars front. How lucky are they? It's great. And how lucky are they? Now, I'll get to... let these guys get to the background, but a couple of years ago I went to Fan Expo in Vancouver and saw this really cool trailer of this series that was coming, and then I think COVID shut the world down and let them get into it. But I just saw it pop back up again. these guys have done an incredible job of this series called Bucketheads. I'm going to play the trailer here, and then we're going to bring them on to talk about it. So check this out, friends.
Everything has transpired according to my design.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Woo! How awesome was that?
Seriously.
Thank
Come
you.
on,
That
Jets.
was so cool.
I've seen that trailer 10,000 times, and it still gets me going.
Well, it should.
Welcome to the show, my
shit
friends.
balls.
Welcome to
Yeah.
the show. And there's your intro. Now we figure out who you guys are, because
That was
man,
beautiful. Thank you.
But we
for
ran
having
out
us,
of
gentlemen.
time. We ran out of time. So thanks for sending the trailer, and we'll talk next week.
You
That's
gonna
awesome,
Matt
man.
Damon us? Are we getting Matt Damon?
No. Great stuff, man.
Wow.
So you guys created this Bucketheads. We'll get into it. I saw it at Fan Expo a couple years ago. I thought it was like, what the hell is this thing? And now we finally get some eyes on it and get to look at it. So who gets to go first in explaining what this is all about? Because it's so cool. It's so cool.
I think
Ooh.
that's you, Andy. Do it.
Is that me? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so Bucketheads is definitely the brainchild and love child of myself and Marco. We're a couple of filmmakers out of Vancouver. We met, I think, about 2015, and about a year after meeting, I think we had gone to see Rogue One, and with a mutual friend, and we really enjoyed it, and we were just chatting and having drinks afterwards about what we would do if we made a Star Wars film and kind of where we would take it. And that was around the time Marco was getting involved in the 501st. So all things kind of lined up. All of a sudden, we had access to a whole bunch of people who were really passionate about Star Wars and had these amazing costumes. And it just kind of grew from there. We did the short film. It had an amazing reception. We still can't believe that thing's getting views. And like, we love the story. We're so happy everyone else loved the story. And there was such a good reception, we thought we better come back and come back, firing on all pistons sort of thing. So we decided we'd make a whole episodic out of the whole deal. So we have season 1 Bucketheads coming out. That's the trailer for the prologue for the first of 3 chapters of episode 1. And then we have 4 more episodes after that.
That's okay. So lots to take in on that. But Marco, can you just sort of break down what the 501st is? Because, I mean, most Star Wars nerds would know what it is, but for the average person, what is the 501st and how difficult is it to get into the 501st?
we have the odd sports guy watching our show, so we break it down sometimes for them. Okay, yeah. So you could do that for some of our sports viewers who view sports.
Yeah,
at the same time.
absolutely.
Thanks.
This show is
Awesome, man. Awesome.
jock friendly. This show is jock friendly. We do play hockey.
And we've
However, we
we've
don't
had Montreal Canadiens fans on the show and stuff like that.
We just don't
I
think.
see,
We
I
just don't
see.
think. We just don't think like them per se.
All good. We don't have to go that far into it.
That's totally
No.
okay. I don't judge. There's something for everyone out there, right? But yeah, I'm happy to talk about the 501st for a bit. The 501st Legion, as it's known, is a worldwide costuming organization that was formed in, I think it was 1997. And it focuses on recreating the costumes from the Star Wars universe, specifically of all the bad guys. Their logline, their slogan is "Bad guys doing good." So it's a bunch of Star Wars nerds that got together that created this vast library of all the Star Wars costumes and what makes them screen accurate. And all you need to do to join is build your own screen accurate costume that fits those guidelines that they set out. and then they get together and they support mostly charity events around the world. I'm part of the local garrison up in Vancouver, BC, the Outer Rim Garrison. I think we're about 120 or 130 members at this point. I think worldwide there's about 15,000. And obviously we do all the big cons, we do parades, but then we also work with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, various children's charities, whatever we can do to support the community. And it's a really awesome cause that I was very happy to join, beyond just being a Star Wars nerd and getting to build a costume like this and then wear it and then actually walk around wearing it. But when you actually recreate that experience for kids and adults, that's just one of the coolest things I've ever gotten to do. But then on top, like Andy said, we also got to make a movie with them, which was just the best.
See, I love how you said, it's great to walk around and so that the kids can sort of relive this and like adults. I get the same way. Like the first time that I went to, my wife took me to Disney World and they had like all the Star Wars areas there. I felt like the biggest kid, and I'm a proud Star Wars nerd. And I say that with the most, heartfelt love. So yeah, even a big kid like me, when I watch that trailer and I see the attention to detail in not only the visuals, but like the costume specifically, it gets me wanting to be, when I was a kid, I wanted a Stormtrooper costume. Now that I'm older, that's like almost one of those things that you kind of want to put money aside and be like, some guys get sports cars. I just want to get a Stormtrooper costume and just run around,
That's how I did it, and that's how a bunch of my friends did it, basically.
Yeah.
And as a result, I don't drive a sports car. So
Chris has got a great a bunch of great picks. Chris, you got a bunch of great picks from being at the Comic Cons and Fan Expo in Toronto and stuff with everybody dressed up. And Chris is like, I think your Machete page is actually you. It's you with the 501st. With the 501st, which is
it's
pretty
funny
cool.
because I was walking by as they were on the other side of the velvet rope coming to do their big photo shoot. My wife was taking photos of me, and I leaned over the rope, and I was just kind of getting pictures with the Jawas because they're close. I'm not that much taller than them, right? So as they were walking by, and then Stormtrooper come up behind me and saw what I was doing, and he snuck up behind me, and my wife's got it like in short animation, and he grabs me and puts the gun to my head, and I'm like, and it was such a great, just a natural photo of it. That was a lot of fun. Good time. I liked it a lot.
That's awesome.
So
having all those things, love it.
Having the costumes is one thing, and I mean, how did the story come together? You guys met in 2015. Obviously, there was some heavy duty back and forth nerding out about Star Wars. Does it start with like, what's your favorite movie, and build from there to like, let's make a movie?
I think it was a lot of what hasn't been done before, right, Andy? Like we looked at.
It was partially the content out of Rogue One as well, right? Like for me, Rogue One really felt like the first movie that the Civil War felt like a civil war, and it was real, and it was, there's a lot of gravity to that battle. So I think we were talking about how Rogue One had done a great job in this, in creating a really dire situation and creating that feeling. And then I think we had all sort of agreed that we didn't want to do Jedi again. We didn't want to do Sith versus Jedi because it's a great concept and everybody loves space wizards, and it's so well fleshed out what the Jedi and the Sith are doing in many points of the Star Wars timeline. So I think we just felt like we wanted to try something new. And in seeing Rogue One and feeling again for the first time, for myself at least, that the Stormtroopers were this like competent force, that they were coming in hot, and this was like a really bad thing that we're seeing Stormtroopers and then Death Troopers, and I thought that was a cool portrayal of that whole part of the battle. So we kind of wanted to run with that a little bit.
And
I can't believe it was so. That was Rogue One. It was that late that you guys have you were thinking about it before that? Because Rogue One is only a couple of years old, and to be able to pull this together after Rogue One, post edit, have everything look so crisp and awesome. I'm like, that's a pretty short timeline. That's a pretty short timeline overall.
I mean, Rogue One was 2016, so that was 5 years ago. Time flies.
Marco,
I-
you probably had other Star Wars ideas of things you wanted to do before I did. Because you
Totally.
were a much larger fan before I really became one. So I think you probably had some.
I've been writing fan fiction since I was 14.
Nice.
So I had some ideas in mind for sure, but I think it didn't become a concrete idea we really talked about until we realized we actually have the means to actually pull it off, right? That was the big thing for us as well as independent filmmakers that don't have a lot of money or access to a lot of resources at the time. We also just had to look at what's actually doable. And I think in the end, with a short film, we just a bunch of really, really awesome people came together that had access to specific things like a location or a camera, or those costumes and a bunch of other stuff. And it just we were just able to pull this off based on what we had available to us at the time. And then based on the popularity of the short film, we were able to approach a ton of professionals and costume makers and Star Wars fans that connected us further. Like it was kind of like a snowballing effect. Once we really pushed forward with this series, a lot of things just fell into place for us.
Nice. So
It's
can
really,
we talk
really
about
cool.
the episode, or is there like a spoiler thing? Like, yeah, I'm curious. How in depth can we go? Or
That's
are you guys?
that's up to you guys. I mean,
Yeah.
we want to
Oh, okay.
go hecka in depth. Yeah, we're super happy. We will keep certain. You know, if we're talking about the future of where Nova Squad goes and sort of what their
Right.
journey is, there's obviously things we're going to keep locked up, but we don't mind hinting at stuff, and you know, we can give certain things away.
Okay, well, like there's Ewoks in there.
Correct.
Whose idea was it to shoot an Ewok? Or was it like, oh man, come on, we got to
It's
shoot an
hard
Ewok?
to
Or was it kind of like we
honestly-
should to make it look real? Because you know what I mean?
It's hard to untangle after the fact who really came up with what, because a lot of our writing and idea sessions is just kind of, you know, we just get beers and shoot the shit for 6 hours and something
Nice.
comes out the other end. We're not the writers of this, actually. Our writer is Michael Nevada, who's amazing, and we're super happy to have him. We just kind of come up with the general ideas and the overall story arc for the first season, and then he actually like writes the episode and creates dialogue that is engaging and works.
Right.
But I think with the Ewoks, we just thought we needed them to sell that this is Endor, like they're just part of Endor, and doing what we did to those Ewoks just felt appropriate for the story that we were telling. To just kind of like put this whole Ewok trope from Return of the Jedi, just put it on its head and get a little bit of payback for the Stormtroopers.
Yeah,
And
it
it
made
was-
it real. It made it more real for me. Like it made it more legit. Like it was funny because when I saw the cute little Ewok in there sitting with the dude, I was like, okay, here we go. Which way are you going to take it? Is it the cute little Ewok going to bounce out of the way and run in and escape? Nope. Nope. And are we going to see him suffering? Yep. So kudos to you guys for making it real, because you know I'm an adult and I like to see that kind of thing in the Marvel universe and the Star Wars universe. I love it when it gets a little too real for, of course, some younger viewers, which
sure.
I think is awesome. But that's awesome. I think that's great because that's, as I say, like, which way are the dudes going to go here, man? And to me, in my opinion, my humble opinion of watching Star Wars basically all my life, I think you guys made a great decision in there. And to me, personal fan, longtime Star Wars fan, that was when I was kind of like, okay, I am not just invested in this. I want to see the whole deal, right? Because, you know, if you're going to do something with Star Wars, there's a whole deal coming. You can't just have this little segment of Star Wars, right? It's like it's huge. It would, like, same with Marvel and anything like that, superheroes. But,
I love
bravo to you guys.
What I love about how you've approached the Stormtroopers, and this goes back to something like it just in A New Hope, when Luke and Ben come along onto the Sandcrawler, and they're, you know, it's the Tusken Raiders. No, these blaster points are too, you know, precise. Back then, Stormtroopers could hit things like really well. And somewhere along the way, the Stormtrooper became the butt end of a joke that, you know, they couldn't hit the side of a barn type thing. I love how you've established in this that these guys are badasses, and they're not just your bumbling Keystone Cop Stormtroopers, which, again, for me, I like that sort of side of things because it does kind of play back into the original film that somehow it got lost along the way that, stormtroopers were just idiots and couldn't shoot anything.
Yeah, and we definitely, that was a huge point of this, was wanting to portray the stormtroopers again like they're a fierce fighting force, and they're many in number and also have better resources than the rebels. We really looked at films like Jarhead and Band of Brothers, Saving Private Ryan for squad tactics and combat and how an organized army approaches these kinds of things. And that was, just like you're saying, I think somewhere along the way, stormtroopers became this bumbling, massive villains. But realistically, I always feel it plays better if we just portray them as especially in this time period, a consigned force of regular men and women who are just fighting for what they believe in, right? They're on one side of a conflict. They don't have all the information. They're not the leaders. They're just peons who are being told, go fight for a better universe. This is the way. And some of them do that.
Do you guys like all the heel wrestlers as well? All the bad guys? I love the 501 idea and all the villains and stuff. It's awesome. Did you guys need permission from Lucasfilm and everybody to do this, or what's the intellectual property kind of rights and all that stuff that you're allowed to work within to make this happen?
We are.
I mean, Marco, you take this one.
Sure. It's a question we get.
We can edit this out. We can edit this out. Yeah.
No, it's good. No, it's good.
No, it's all good. We don't have official permission from Lucasfilm to do this, but we are following the guidelines that they set out for all fan films. There are tons of Star Wars fan films out there. And Lucasfilm and Disney are encouraging them. Like they are actually supporting fan films, which makes them different from a lot of other copyright holders like Warner Brothers or Paramount, for example. If you look at the DC universe or Star Trek, for example, Star Wars seems to be sort of like a safe haven for fan films. So the three main guidelines that they laid out that we follow, and they seem to be okay with it, is don't try and commercialize it, sell it, like exhibit it in a theater and charge for tickets. Follow the Star Wars brand, or be true to the Star Wars brand. So keep it in universe. Don't make it overtly violent or gory, or make it a porn parody or something like that. And Andy, I always
stumble on one. I know, I love it. It's similar to Rule 1, which is just basically don't ask the fans directly for money for a Star Wars property. So we do have a Patreon set up, and that is entirely how we fund this thing. Prior to the Patreon, it was through Marco in my pocket. But we are now asking fans to support our YouTube channel, and we give a very heavy nod in the direction of this money's going towards Bucketheads. So we have a clear disclaimer on that Patreon that says basically you're funding our channel and you have to be okay with whatever we do with your money, but wink nudge, hey, Bucketheads is on the agenda.
And
I saw it at Fan Expo. I thought it was amazing. You guys had a great display at Fan Expo in Vancouver.
That's so cool that you actually came to Vancouver and saw it.
Well, I live here. I live here. So
I had no idea. I thought you were somewhere else. Cool. That's awesome.
No, I'm cool. I'm cool like you two. The other two live in Ontario. So
I'm in Kingston, Ontario.
Hey guys, I want to Toronto. I want to show another clip from this for a second. You guys sent me some great stuff, so just stand by. Let's have another highlight from the show. Okay,
let's do it.
the randomator. Here we go and go.
To command, we copy you, Sapphire 1. No further units are available to assist. Ground forces in Gulf sector need.
Man, that looks like a fun Friday night. That looks like a fun Friday night.
So I think of fan films like when I was a younger man, we would in the summers we would get one of those old beastly JVC on the shoulder camcorders. One of our dads would be the poor sucker that would have to film us, and we would make, our version of Star Wars or Raiders of the Lost Ark or something like that. The visual effects in this it's mind-boggling, and I know that Star Wars, a lot of it is green screen. You guys use a different piece of technology that's kind of cutting edge, which I think is pretty freaking fantastic. Talk to me a little bit about this LED wall that you're using for a lot of these backdrop shots and sort of so the actors can be immersed in it. Because this is I'm assuming stuff that's being used sort of more now for newer productions.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Disney opened this door. With The Mandalorian, Disney did, I think, an excellent job, A, in creating the show, but then B, they created this awesome behind-the-scenes sort of episodic to go along with it and show how they attack a lot of the property and how they, film this thing, what tools they were using. And one of the episodes revolves around them using these LED walls and what's called virtual production. So virtual production uses video game engines, and you attach a digital camera to a physical camera, and then you project the digital environment on an LED wall, and it moves in accordance with your physical camera. So you pan your physical camera left, and your whole wall shifts left and shows you whatever is to the left of that digital camera. This is something that is absolutely being looked at used heavily in the future filmmaking processes for, I think, every filmmaking center right now. It's sort of a wild west right now as to how best to use it, what the best pipelines are, software, et cetera, et cetera. And Disney, in that behind the scenes piece, Disney made this sound really, really easy. And they basically just said, like, look, we got these, these LED walls, and then we just thought Unreal 4 and bada bing, bada boom. Now we got a whole alien environment and we could change it to whatever we want it to be. And the reality is that they actually had so many software engineers and Unreal experts. And by season 2, they basically built their own proprietary software to deal with this. But they did kind of open the door and showcase what the tech can do and how it can be utilized. And that's really caught the eye of the entire film industry at this point. So everyone is looking now on how they can best use this stuff in their own filmmaking. So we were fortunate enough to partner with a company called Promosa here in Vancouver. They're a events technology company. They have these massive LED walls, and they were looking at getting involved in the film industry as well. So they agreed to kind of take us on as sort of like a pilot project and,
nice,
firm up their process and how they go about this. So we were really lucky in being able to work with them. And in that clip that was just shown, the space combat, in the TIE fighter cockpit shots, anytime you see outside, that is an LED wall that's projecting that very same scene back onto our subject and reflecting off his plastic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's
killer. I know Chris and those guys down there really well. I work with Chris Ball all the time. Back in the day. So yeah, back when there was back when concerts were around and life was normal. But,
right.
Chris Ball, great guy. Hi, Chris. Hopefully you're watching. I got a great video. Of dragging Chris Ball around Whistler on a luggage cart. Nice. That's for another show. That's for another show. That's for another show. Hey, Chris, thoughts here, buddy? I told you about this thing, and you were super stoked. So, what a killer series!
I love Star Wars. So I was just curious if you guys go outside of let's go outside of the smaller realm, and if let's just say, and you guys can take your turns answering this. So let's say you're in charge of the next trilogy of movies. So the first question is, would you take it to the future or would you take it to the past? And secondly, where would you take the new Star Wars trilogy? I don't want to get into it, but I'm not a fan of the newest one. I like the first movie, the other two, but this isn't what that's about, just to let you know where my headspace is. So where would you guys take the next trilogy? And whoever wants to go first with this.
Ooh.
I'm happy to go
Marco,
first, Andy.
Marco,
go for it, buddy.
He's already got it written.
I know. I want to trigger. I want to trigger you guys with something big. I'm like, here you go, man. It's been handed to you, my friend. It's been handed to you. Where are you taking a guy like me? Where are we going?
So, like you said, the sequel trilogy wasn't great, and I don't think there's much to go from there. I really like what Disney is doing with The Mandalorian and that timeline in general right now. But in terms of what hasn't really been done too far, there are two areas that I would like to insert my own storytelling into. One of them is the Clone Wars, and I know it's been done at length. There was a massive TV series. Obviously, the prequel trilogy also goes into that. But I absolutely love the Republic Commandos. There was this video game back in 2004, 5, I think, which is still to this day one of the greatest Star Wars games ever made.
You can get it on the PlayStation 4 now. It's just available for
can.
PlayStation 4. You can, buddy. I saw it last night.
And
You
Marco's
can.
face
And
just
it's
lit
only
up.
like it's like $12, man. No, because it's such a great game. Because you
It
can
totally
program
is.
what the other guys do.
I
You
know
can
what
program
Marco's
in what the
doing
other
tonight.
and then head in there yourself, and they all follow. Oh, it's a great game, buddy. Yeah, I had it on the PC, but no. So sorry to interject, but yeah, that's a
That's
great
awesome.
game. We love
That's
video
awesome.
games.
I totally share your
PlayStation 4, man.
excitement, Chris.
After this, buy it up, brother, and then let me know how it goes.
Absolutely. So I think there's still some really interesting stories to be told in that era, just because the entire thing is so incredibly fucked up if you think about it. Anyway, the other timeline that I think absolutely should be put on the big screen, because it just hasn't been done so far, is the Old Republic, and especially Knights of the Old Republic. Like, it's the other great Star Wars game that was made, and as you can tell, I'm also a gamer. So is Andy.
You too, buddy. Yep.
But there are some fantastic stories there, and I know Disney right now is kind of like doing their own books in that era, but I don't think they're doing too well with that either. So I have some ideas.
Yeah, awesome. I love it. That's great.
For myself, okay,
Mhm.
Knights of the Old Republic, I think is an easy one for me as well. Like, there just is so many cool characters and so much lore, and I mean, it sort of on the surface feels like everybody was a lot more powerful during the Knights of the Old Republic sort of time period.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of fun things that you could do there. Is it weird if I say our own timeline? Like,
No, that's cool. That's
the Fractured Empire period, I think, is a really cool one as well, just because it is sort of a tying up of loose ends, or things that seemingly are winding down for the war, but really it all sort of comes to a head on Jakku and transitions us into sort of where the new trilogy is. But I would like to see that period, the Fractured Era, explored with a lot of resources, with higher resources. I think would be really fun. You could do some cool stuff.
Last week we talked a little bit about this, and the question was posed: would you want to have George Lucas involved in the next trilogy? Kind of like how Stan Lee was sort of involved with the Marvel Universe stuff when he was still alive. Would you? Does George Lucas still have any relevance to anything new Star Wars moving forward, in your opinion?
That's a tough question.
I would say in what Disney's designing, no, but I would say in what my heart would want, that he would absolutely be involved in that. To what degree, I think, that is the complicating factors in my mind of the prequels, and I think where some of the prequels took a bit of a wrong turn, at least in what I've read. I wasn't there, but in what I've read, that just the reins were maybe too heavily given over, and a lot of yes men were sort of ushered into place in creating what George wanted. And as any filmmaker will tell you, it's such a collaborative process that when you are allowed to do absolutely anything you want to do, oftentimes that maybe isn't the best portrayal of what you're trying to get across, right? It's the best to you, but optically to your audience, that might not be the best way to go about it. So I think he should be involved in that if that were to happen, even as just a consultant of some kind. But there, in my view, there immeasurably is value in having him attached to that.
Marco, on the other hand,
I have a question.
I just have to say,
yeah, go ahead, Marco. Go ahead, Marco.
It feels super weird to say, yeah, I mean, the creator of Star Wars could be a consultant on, my Star Wars, but
that is, yeah, no. After you say it again, oh, wait a minute.
I want to ask about the 501, the 501st. I know you guys touched on it a little bit earlier about what you do, but we've touched on this subject a little bit over the last couple. Like last week, we talked about like how we would rewrite Star Wars. We've had our own thoughts on The Mandalorian. Chris has his own thoughts on the new trilogy. Kind of where everything sort of lands for everybody. But you guys at the 501st, what is when do you guys get together? Like without getting any secrets, do you get together like Fridays, Thursdays? Does everyone sit around and talk about like what we're doing now, just not recorded on a podcast? You guys sit around and go, oh my God, I can't believe they did this, or I can't believe they did that, because it's so funny. And I want to talk to you guys because you're so far in on it. There's so much love for this franchise and also so much hate for the franchise by the people who love the franchise. So where do you guys stand on the overall picture of the 9? And sort of like, to Chris's point, like where would you take it? Obviously, we know you guys have a little bit you're a little bit different than what we talked about last week. But is it a hate fest at the 501 meetings, or is it a love fest with like a rewrite fest? How do you guys kind of go about your days and stuff over there?
I mean, right now we don't get together at all, unfortunately. But from what I recall, over a year ago, when life was normal, we had a spot in Vancouver. Well, that was more than a year ago, called the EXP bar, which was a fantastic bar right on Pender and Canby, I think. That they don't exist anymore, unfortunately. But we were trying to get together like once a month. We had like a monthly social, essentially. I honestly did not encounter a lot of hate towards Star Wars, and obviously the main target of disdain for Star Wars fans is the sequel trilogy, because it's just not nearly as good as it could have been, and that disappoints a lot of people. But a lot of people still like it because it is Star Wars. And I mean, I have my own opinions on it. I don't think it's great. Do I hate it? No, I just stopped caring. And I don't know if I don't know if that's worse, honestly. But I think ultimately that trilogy did a ton of damage to Star Wars and to Disney. Both, like, it weakened the brand. It just from a purely boring business corporate perspective. And Disney right now has to work to get back that fan enthusiasm and trust that they lost with that trilogy, right?
That's what I say. That I thank you. You say it way more eloquent than I say it, my friend. But yeah, I echo your thoughts. You can see, I don't know if my face is getting red here, but it's like, yeah, that like triggers me, because like just the dishonesty too that Disney had with their fans over the process of it, and it was all written way ahead of time. We knew this, and then their actors are saying, well, no, actually Obi-Wan was supposed to be my dad, and then last thing I knew is this and that, and it's like, wow, yeah, you know what? The movie looks like that. Anyway, I'm getting now I'm triggered and I'm starting to go off on it. Sorry.
Easy now, Chris. Easy.
I know. Sorry.
Easy.
Okay.
Bring it.
That, you know, actually, we could, if while we're on the subject of riling Chris up, I heard a rumor that they're going to bring Emily Van Camp in as a Jedi.
No, they're not. No.
Or is it you guys that are going to hire her? No.
The fans are feeling the same way I did about poor Emily Van Camp.
Well, we're talking about actors. Let's talk about the actors that you have in Bucketheads.
Yeah,
sure.
There's now you guys. Obviously, your first love is filmmaking. You guys have had a ton of experience working on big projects, and I'm assuming that the casting has ties to projects that you may have worked together with earlier on. I'm talking about dating shows in Vancouver. And Troy's, you know, is it Marco? Marco, is that you? You guys?
Yeah. Do you know Troy?
I do not know Troy. I do not.
How do you know the show? Because no one ever called out this connection,
dude. I did my research on this because
we spent a lot of money. I mean, he is the voiceover guy for Cineplex after all. For
we're not on the Escalator.
And Showcase now. And Showcase. Jesus Christ,
Mike. We were in the lobby. Congratulations, by the way.
That's exciting. Yeah, so Marco, I'm telling you to turn off your cell phone at Cineplex. So there you go. But anyway, enough of that. Yes, I did a little bit of research because I always find it fascinating because, I mean, you know, the films like this, like fan films, anything that's sort of a passion project, you are working on limited budgets. But you want to get the best quality and you want to have a group of people around you that you trust, that have the same vision, that can deliver. And that's why I'm looking into your histories. So tell me a little bit about sort of you and Troy and that early sort of the connection that has now led to starring in Bucketheads.
Sure. So Troy is one of the first people I met after moving to Vancouver. I grew up in Germany, went to school there, and then came over to Vancouver in 2013 with, you know, $1,000 in my pocket and the hopes of working in film. And at the beginning, I did what most people do when they're out of film school and they're looking to be on set. They go onto Craigslist and look for gigs. And one of them was looking for a DOP for a web series. And I'm like, sure, let's hit that person up. And
I'm just out of film school. Sure.
pretty much. What
I
could
love it.
go
You're
wrong?
ambitious. I love it.
But I met with Troy at a Starbucks after contacting him on Craigslist. We always joke about that. We met in the Men Seeking Men section. That was back in 2013.
And the cliche Starbucks too. It's
Yeah, right.
the actor's second job.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I was kind of like just saying like, yeah, I mean, I have a camera. I'm out of film school. I guess I can do this. He's like, okay, let's do it. So we shot 2 seasons of Single Dating in Vancouver together. I think at some point I also roped in Andy, who is actually in Single Dating Vancouver as a background actor at some point, and obviously did a whole bunch of camera stuff.
First cameo.
But we just kept making projects together because we just work together really well. We're good friends now. And he's a great dude, and apparently he thinks I'm a great dude. So ultimately, when it came to making Bucketheads, I knew that the main stormtrooper should be Troy because he's perfect for this. He has this really unique balance between he has a certain intensity and a certain vulnerability at the same time, and I think it plays really well, especially if you watch the short film. In that final scene, he takes off his helmet, has this moment with the rebel that he confronts. Like, it's so good, and it's all Troy. Well, and Chad, but.
Do you guys know? You guys sent me some stuff. Do you guys know which MP4 that was? I've got them all up. I can bring them up right now. Probably.
Which one are you looking for?
Of Troy. Yeah, we can bring them up right now and show a little highlight reel.
You would have sent those,
Troy's
Mr.
performance.
Bossow. How did you categorize?
Well, let's do this. I'm gonna play a random. We're gonna play another video clip.
Okay,
let's
I
go.
love it.
He's gonna be Troy.
They're all good, man.
Fun fact:
Come on.
the guy yelling "For Jeddah," that's Andy.
Oh, that's my second cameo.
There you go.
I figured it'd be, yeah. Oh my God, so much fun. I've currently set up for camping in Alice Lake, and I've got basically Endor for our Vancouverites here. My wife's up there alone. I've left her in Endor alone. But did you guys shoot all that in North Vancouver? Mostly in that kind of area. It looks a lot. South Surrey.
South Surrey, yeah.
Redwoods. That kind of area. What
Yeah,
part?
Panther Paintball is the paintball course we shot at. They have a lot of big films come through and shoot there. It's a big, massive paintballing course, so they can do anything they want on their own land, and they have all manner of log cabin built and all these things. So
the forest as well. The forest as well is all is in that area.
Yeah. They I don't know how much of it is forest, maybe like a third, but they've got a nice little river that runs through. It kind of dissects 1/3 of the course. So they just shut down that river forest and said, hey, you guys have this entire third of the course. Go play, go find your spot, go do your stuff. And we actually, we kind of hacked out our space a little bit. We brought in a bobcat to do some greenery work beforehand because it was like thick with brambles. And those get inside Stormtrooper plastic and you're screwed. So we had to do some cleaning out to make sure it was good for our troopers.
It's so cool. I'm sorry. I'm in South Surrey right now, actually, at this moment.
Oh, are you? Oh, okay.
King George in 30 seconds. So I'm probably not too far away from there, but
we basically
I
shot.
want to say it was like 64th, I think.
Yeah, it's 16 Ave and near 64.
Crazy. Yeah, it's just down the
something
street.
like that.
So that's pretty cool. I'll have to go and just hang out there. So I got some cool set pieces around my area. We got you guys around here. We got Superman and Lois just around the block from my house, and
I just finished on that. I was just shooting on that. That was my go-to gig for the last.
What were you?
months.
So we'll get back to that. So what's your gig on that?
It was a DUT, digital utility. So DIT's right-hand man, basically.
Fantastic series, by the way.
Fantastic. Yeah, I thought it was.
Cool.
Gavin Struthers with that first episode was like bananas.
I was just going to say, Marco, you touched on something I was going to ask you about, that scene with Troy and the rebel in the short film.
Yeah.
How has the story changed from that original short film to the new series that we're seeing now? Is some of that still, again, I don't want to jump into spoilers, but is some of that part of the new sort of series moving forward, that story theme line?
Sure. So the story hasn't changed. It has just evolved. In a way, the series takes place after the short film, but the events aren't directly connected. The short film was more like an earlier chapter in Troy's character's life. But certain characters may come back later in the series. We don't know. I mean, we know. Yes.
I think we can give a heavy nod, if you're okay with that, Mark. We can give a heavy nod in saying that after we released the short film, that relationship between the Stormtrooper and the Rebel, Troy and Chad at the end, was one of the things that the fandom majorly seemed to pick up on it and really resonate with, right? They really enjoyed that sort of Civil War, again, aspect of what was occurring. And these are individuals who know each other, but they're on different sides of this line and they've got to do what they've got to do. And we understood that, we understood that that's what people picked up on and what they liked. And we weren't willing to throw away that aspect of their story moving forward. Now, we didn't define what the relationship is that exists there either. So we've had time to play with that. There are some theories out there. We've had time to play with that and refine it now,
which is cool because think about as filmmakers, isn't that one of those things that sort of makes you go, like when fans now have theories about where your story is going, because that just seems like, we've got them. We can totally hook them. And I'm assuming that you have a story mapped out as opposed to, we got a story.
What a crazy concept, right, Disney?
Yes.
Yeah,
we have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and we're following that path. So I love that. I love that shot, though, when the Death Star explodes. Sorry, spoiler alert, in case people haven't seen Return of the Jedi yet. But that's what that kind of hooked me, because again, you see it from the Return of the Jedi perspective, like, hey, boom. The Stormtroopers who are still waging this war on Endor now see like, okay, I'm sure the Emperor's okay. Emperor,
totally.
Emperor, save us. And again, Troy, that again, the acting, like it sells
Mike,
it.
It's the Kevin Smith thing. It's like, oh man, my uncle was up there.
Or
right.
What about all those contractors, because they were still not finished?
Or what am I going to do with all this plywood? There's all those things. So yeah, go ahead, guys.
So awesome. Now, as far as moving forward, like, is the entire show or the entire series shot in post now, or you still have stuff that needs to be shot?
No, this is where the Patreon comes majorly into play. This is such a weird project as producers to have to map out, right? To have any kind of a production schedule, it's literally insane and it's very fluid. We, prior to the Patreon really picking up steam, Marco and I were funding everything out of pocket, and we were basically just doing it as much as we could without letting our lives suffer. Too much.
I was about to say.
Yeah, too much. So at this point, we've gotten to the point now where the Patreon is taking over that burden, and we're now using basically exclusively Patreon funds to fund the rest of it. We're in the middle of filming chapter 2 of episode 1. So there's 3 chapters for episode 1. We really did not want to break episode 1 up into 3 chapters. We wanted to release it as a 30-minute piece of television. But budget is everything. If you can't pay people, if you can't afford the location, if you can't build the set, you just can't do it. And we weren't wanting to string people along for like 2.5 years saying, it's coming. I promise you it's coming. No, we're still making it's coming. And we figured that we could probably accelerate our timeline by showcasing something and showing people, hey, look, we've really upped the ante. We're better filmmakers now than we were when we did the first one. We have more resources. So it was sort of a gamble in that sense of, okay, we're gonna chop up episode 1 into 3 chapters. It fudges with the pacing of the episode a little bit, but we hope that, we did a good enough job in massaging out those hiccups. And then, just showing it to people and saying, hey guys, look, we need the fans' help to make this and to continue going. And we do have, like you said, our whole arc scripted out. We've got at least the outlines. We have many of the scripts going or fully created at this point, but we have, the entire outline of the season, what everyone's going to go through, the struggles, the victories, et cetera, et cetera.
We're going to have to get that off to some people and see if we can get some help here, because this is deadly and it needs to happen.
Definitely.
Very cool. Chris knows all about the successes of Patreon, so it's good. It's been a good run for Chris through Skeletron and those
awesome.
things. So, you guys, so all the best of luck with the Patreon side, and we'll put whatever we can do to support the cause and get this up for everybody. We're 100% going to do, because I think it looks so great and it's so cool. And I love the little, I know you guys broke it all up, but I'm fine with the smaller episodes. We get hammered every week with fucking 45 to an hour long episodes. And you guys I love this. You guys have broken it up. And
it really does leave you wanting more, man. I tell you, as soon as I watched it, I immediately went and watched it again. Whereas if it was longer, I might not have did that. I'm hard to say. It is really, really excellently done. But as soon as it was done, I went back and gave you another view, because I really liked it a lot.
Awesome.
And but I don't know. Yeah, having it all in one, I don't know. I guess I could take it either way, I guess.
We're still dabbling with that formula. That's kind of the nice part about really not being attached to a distributor or having to lock in some kind of a contract like that. Like, yes, we will deliver you absolutely 5 30-minute episodes. Being that we control all those pieces, we've talked about maybe doing it as chapters the whole way through. Maybe it will come to that. I can say the first 2 episodes absolutely have been written as 30-minute pieces of television, and there's pacing that goes into that kind of stuff. Leading emotions and when to kind of have those false victories and things like that. So we would need to do a little bit of restructuring, but episode 1 fell into 3 bite-sized chunks pretty well. And so that is something that our team constantly talks about. Hey, maybe we should just go out and do 10 to 15 minute pieces every time rather than a 30-minute episode. But we will very likely recut all of episode 1 together, all 3 chapters into the super cut of episode 1 and redeliver that for the chapter 3 delivery, so that people can see kind of how we had planned on it being.
The special edition.
There you go. So yes. let's say that Disney not only gives you permission to use any character you want, but they will give you like their costume, the outfit, whatever you guys need to do that character, but only one character. What character do you guys pick to put in your next trilogy, to plan the next step?
Must this be someone that they've already portrayed on the big screen, or could this be a character that exists in Disney canon that we could just have them create for us if we want it with all the resources?
You pick it. They'll make it. They'll make your dreams come true, man. It's Disney, right? Yeah, whatever you want, my friend.
This is like the Tiny Talent time of the 70s. I could just snap my fingers. Make the wish come true.
There you go, buddy.
What property would you snap?
Get one character, man. Who would it be?
One character. I mean, we've all this is put forward because of the season 1 trailer, the big trailer that kind of shows the overall arc of where we're going. We have some pretty kick-ass costumes coming out for Gallius Rax that we're very excited for. Ray Sloan, I think I would be really interested to see, because that is in Disney's canon. It's only on the animated side that Disney's ever done anything with her. But I'd be pretty excited if we could reach out to Disney and say, hey, put us together. This is where we're going with Ray. Let's see, what that looks creatively to you.
Cool.
For me, it would be Jar Jar Binks, and I'm not going to explain this further.
Oh, jeez.
You're gonna kill him off. For
Reese, I think we're gonna have to stop his feed.
Yeah. Oh my God. You said we could edit this.
Yeah, we can edit this, but You know what we're going to do, Andy, is we're just going to do a highlight reel of this show, but we're going to pull that part out of Marco, and then we're going to send it to every member of the 501st and be like, by the way, guys, Marco wants to do a Jar Jar movie, and then we'll see how that next
If the Patreon starts slipping, that's the reason why.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've seen the turning point.
Guys, let's throw another video. Yeah, go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I hit up Dave Filoni after he did his Mandalorian success, and I said, challenge, make Jar Jar Binks cool, my friend. And he didn't hit me back. I thought that would have been a good one, but that would have been a good challenge for Dave Filoni, right? Oh yeah, let's see him make Jar Jar cool.
Let's have another. Let's check out another.
Only so deep.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's check another video, boys. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, leave you wanting more. Leave you wanting more.
Always leave them wanting more.
That's right. Gentlemen, amazing that you made some time for us today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you coming by.
Oh, guys,
totally
thank
rad.
you for having us. It's super fun to talk all things Star Wars and especially with some intelligent, knowledgeable fans like yourselves.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes, I'm all about digging for the obscurity, the obscure references.
Good job, Mike. Well, that's why we pay you the big bucks.
I know.
We pay you the big bucks.
Sorry, I wanted to ask because I know you guys are, you are currently working in the Vancouver, like the film scene and that. Is there any, when you're working, you're obviously networking with a lot of people. Has word spread like the lore of Bucketheads? Because there are some pretty prominent directors that have come and shot in Vancouver. Who worked on The Flash here? Was it Andy or was it Marco?
Oh God, probably both of us. Yeah.
At some point.
Oh my God.
Everybody in Vancouver has worked on The Flash.
I am so devastated that I only worked on Flash season 3 and not season 2 because in season 2 they had Mark Hamill on the show. And then
I was gonna say, okay, there's my other obscure reference.
My little guy is infatuated with that series, by the way. Loves it.
It's a pretty cool series.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, like, were any of you guys working when Mark Hamill was and kind of pick that brain and sort of ahead of making this type thing? So I'm just curious if you're coming across anybody that you might, that the Jedi mind trick gets passed out and people all of a sudden in Hollywood, there's a couple of guys up in Canada there making this really good Star Wars film. Hey, has anybody got Dave Filoni's number on speed dial over there?
Well, one thing I can tell you, Mike, is that we very recently got the opportunity to hang out with an actor who was in The Mandalorian, who does have Dave Filoni on speed dial.
See, there you see, and this is where the whole network that's great. I mean, not only are you getting you get the experience being on set and seeing how things are going. Because I was going to ask you, you guys filmed a lot of this during COVID, and how were you able to take stuff that you saw, like how things were being handled on set from like a COVID standpoint, and sort of bring that to your set as well?
Yeah, 100%. It didn't all translate, right? Because some of it is stuff that you can only really do with a lot of personnel and a big budget and a ruthless team of COVID individuals and money. Yeah, so some of it doesn't translate, but absolutely everything that we were doing was taken from like the IATSE guidelines or the bigger motion picture players here in the province and how they were dealing with that kind of stuff. We definitely took a page out of the book.
So
it's really great. I love the fact that it's local, man. I love the fact that you guys have filmed this.
I'm jealous of the kind of stuff you guys have filming out there. I mean, we've got. You
should see what we got going on out here.
It's awesome.
It's crazy. Like,
awesome.
I know that I think The Boys is filming in Toronto and Hamilton right now.
That's cool.
I've been handling. I've been doing movie logistics for COVID testing, so I got a pretty good vibe for what's happening locally in a lot of the stuff. But the movie business is the one business that didn't stop. It's one of the ones that really didn't stop, and their testing protocols and stuff like that were like the rest of the world should have followed, because it was quite quite extensive, and it allowed them to keep working, and it drove a pile of money into the local economy too, as well. I mean, the Superman and Lois, as we were talking about, Andy, is just here in Cloverdale, just around the corner, and I think they've signed a pretty decent lease there. They've got a mini Smallville set up. It looks amazing. Like, it just looks like, and they've just jumping a pile of money, and they're filming the new John Cena down here. They just filmed a Jim Carrey down here. So this area, I told Mike before, like this area where I'm in Cloverdale, kind of Surrey area, is on fire right now for productions. So
For sure.
it's stoked, and I'm really glad you guys were able to work through that and present this really cool series and film to the world. So I can't wait
to
for
see
more
where
of
it's
it.
going. Yep, stoked for more.
We
Can't
can't
wait
wait,
boys,
for
where
more.
Yeah,
Where
good
can we
stuff,
find
guys.
you? Where can we find you on all the things?
We're gonna find Marco playing
Bucketheadsseries.com?
Republican Commando in about another half hour.
Yeah, exactly.
You know it.
I'll find
You
it.
know it.
I'll find it
Yes,
on
please.
PS Live.
You can find us best on our landing page, which is on screen right now, bucketheads-series.com. And all the socials, we are at Bucketheads Film on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
And if you want to
Amazing.
support the Patreon is patreon.com/Twin Film Foundation. And that's for, we Marco and I are Transmute Pictures. That's our sort of for-profit company. And then we created a not-for-profit, which is Twin Sun Film Foundation, specifically to do Bucketheads.
Wicked. That's Marco. That's Andy. Creators of Bucketheads. Rad series. Everyone check it out when you get a chance.
Oh,
Gentlemen,
yeah. Star Wars fans
now that I
unite.
know that you're in the area, next time you're filming, you got to let me know. And
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
you got to let me know. And you can shoot me. You can throw me out of a cannon. Whatever you got to do, just blow me up. I'm good. I'll volunteer for getting blown up.
Kick him in the nuts.
Yeah,
Copy
that's
that.
right. Whatever it takes. If you need we've got this idea for a stormtrooper that gets kicked in the balls.
Crotch shot.
Oh, remember that guy that we were on that podcast? Yeah, let's call that asshole. So,
Let's
anyway,
get that guy and hit
Our
him.
next dangerous stunt, no danger pay volunteer lined up. Copy that.
that's
That's
right.
I heard it.
Oh,
I heard it. It's
beautiful.
recorded. It's
It is.
there.
And
No,
you've
I work-
seen what we do to stormtroopers, right?
I work.
And
I work
Ewoks.
for
Yeah.
I work for coffee, boys.
No, you just
There you
go.
you get an IMDb credit. There you go. That's
That too.
that too.
Absolutely.
Andy, Marco, thanks so much, guys, for your time.
Boys,
Come back
cheers, guys.
anytime.
so cool, man.
Thank you, guys.
Can't wait to
May
have
the
you
force
back.
be
And
with you.
Thank you,
put everything
gentlemen.
up and running.
Nice.
Here's another clip for you. This is the trailer again for everybody.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
guys.
Save us.
Everything has transpired according to my design.
That is
Come on.
crazy.
Come on.
That's really cool.
I noticed that they also, gentlemen, they're in the waiting room still, but
Mm.
you don't need to listen to our boring chats. But I noticed they used the Willem scream as well. So
Yes,
nice work there.
thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed that in the
They used-
first episode. Yeah,
Yeah, they
I'm
used the
very
Willem's-
happy to hear that.
I was like, oh, there it is. You can't have
Yeah.
one with that one. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Wicked.
It's a very, very cool. Very, very good job.
I was actually going to see if that was like one of those things that that Disney has as their things you have to sort of abide by the Star Wars rules. There has to be a Wilhelm scream in there.
That's
somewhere,
awesome.
so.
I like
And
that.
Andy said you can't have a Star Wars.
That's
without it. So
right.
we
That's
do
right.
agree. We do agree. We do
That's
agree.
right.
Okay, moving on. We got a handful of minutes left here. I want to update you guys because I went and saw Quiet Place 2 yesterday in a movie theater where Mike yelled at me.
Right.
Yes,
And it was,
I'm very happy to hear that. What was it? Was it Tommy or was it
Marco, Andy? If you guys want back in on a quiet place, feel free to raise your hand. But man, what a film! What a series, Chris. We were talking horror movies back in November.
Yep.
We were talking about like our favorite and scariest horror movies of all time. This series. I don't know if you've seen it yet. Marco hasn't seen it. So, anyways,
I've seen the first one. So
yeah, so the second one's out now. The second one is
full movie, or it's a series?
Yeah, full movie. No, it's a full movie. It was supposed to come out like a year and a half ago, and then all the madness hit.
Oh, okay.
Now we're going to spoil the shit out of this for you, Marco.
Well, you can't throw any spoilers though, because I haven't seen it yet either. You can't talk about it yet.
Damn it!
What are you doing, man? Nobody's seen it. You can't talk about it yet.
Oh, because out west, you guys can go to the movies.
Yeah, come on, man. I'm not going to see this. So you can brag that you've seen it.
Listen to me. I've been sitting here for fucking months listening to you guys go on about Marvel and all this shit, and I'm expected to know the fucking 8th character on a fucking Doctor Strange thing, and here I am going.
Well, if Mike had access to this movie, maybe we could talk about it. But we can't. We couldn't even watch it if we wanted to.
Okay, you saw the first one, right?
Yeah, first one was great.
Okay, let's go.
And
with
maybe
one. All right,
the Fantastic Four. They should go into that.
So they want them. Yeah, get them to be husband and wife, right?
Yeah,
that'd be great. Yeah. Anyways, we saw part 2. Okay, fine. I'm just gonna say it's.
Oh, whoa! Okay, great.
4.5 star. I gave it 4.5 Deaners out of 5. So
all right,
it was done great, and it took the kids, which is great, and it's the perfect mix of Jaws, Alien, Jurassic Park, and Blair Witch.
Who knew that Jim from The Office could be such a good director? I mean,
fantastic! Holy shit, I loved it. I loved it. So, anyways, that we were allowed to go to the movie theater. Went to the theater, took the kids instead of a children's movie. We're like, you're gonna sit there, and we're gonna freak your minds out. So,
we can talk about the previews. Did you see any good movies coming up?
Well, no, they didn't have any previews at the movies other than what we're seeing online. I don't know. Okay. They didn't. It was kind of like, I think they're limiting everybody. It's like, come in, eat your popcorn, get yelled at by Mike, put the movie on.
I'm one person. I like the previews. I think the previews are really cool.
Me too. They had Top Gun.
You know what gets me? You know what grinds my gears when I go to the theater, Mike? When they play the same commercials on the screen that I see at home. I'm at the movie theater, man. If you're going to show me a commercial, you show me a different commercial. Come on, step it up a bit, right? But yeah, you're right. See, Andy agrees with me. The ads are ridiculous, but the previews are great. Not that's your fault, Mike. Mike's like, I know, sorry, man. Like, sorry, dude. But no, it's funny though, because like,
some of those ads are,
it's funny.
They showed Top Gun again, which I'm stoked to see, but I want to see that in IMAX. Obviously, you got to see it. Top Gun.
Did they show Fast and the Furious 9, F9?
Oh, fuck's sakes, I hope
not.
How does it get up to that? How does it go to episode 9? That's crazy.
I have a thing up on my Dean Blundell profile where it's like the Rambo, the Rambo remake that Stallone was in a few years ago, where they were into like overseas, and he was on a 50 cal for the last 25 minutes of a movie. The difference between that and the Fast and Furious franchise is there's a big difference between the two. And if you get it, we can hang out. If you don't, Fast and Furious. It's just a bunch of cars rolling around. It's not as cool as John Wick. It's not as cool. Like, I don't know. There's a certain amount of like, I don't know. I was never a Fast and the Furious guy because I'm like, fuck, cars circling.
Yeah, I've actually never seen one of those movies. Yeah, another thing I've never seen, Titanic movie, and I've never seen that other one with the blue people in it. What's that movie that was really popular by Cameron as well?
Avatar.
Avatar. I've never seen Avatar, and I've never seen Titanic. Just
Avatar is just Field of Dreams. Avatar is just Dancing with Wolves.
Yeah, and Titanic, spoiler alert, the boat sinks.
Yeah, the boat sinks, right, Mike? Yeah. It's just two of those. It's just so weird because those movies always come up when you're talking in movie circles with people who aren't like big comic or Star Wars heads, and I always blow their minds by going, "Haven't seen either of those." Like, oh,
yeah. It was just fun to get back out there. Obviously, we're further ahead than the rest of the country out here.
Way to go!
Which has been pretty rad, but we were able to do some cool shit. So going to the movies was one of them, and that was awesome to be able to go do that. So.
I went to the comic book store today. That was awesome. I like that.
That's a big win. That's a big win for your province.
That's fun. Yeah, I went to the comic book store, got to do some dollar bin shopping, found some good books.
It was very cool to see footage from the Foo Fighters at Madison Square Gardens. at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, Chappelle got up and did. Chappelle got up and did
Radiohead. Yeah,
did Radiohead. So, but yeah, the Foos are taking a lot of shit for that. Not from anyone of whatever relevance, but they're taking a lot of shit of like that. It was a only vaxxed show and stuff like that. But I'm heading back out in a couple of weeks, so concerts are back, man. They're back. They're back to an extent. There's only like 6 tours going out. I'm on one, but like there's a few other little ones going around.
There's a festival show that's coming to Edmonton at the end of August.
That's their CNE, our PNE. That's like,
is that what it is? Okay.
It's like their outdoor series where they can just do shows. They have a pretty killer lineup. They got a pretty killer lineup of Canadian bands, which I'm always a fan of. Our buddy Jeff from Moist, I think, is playing one of them, and
Ken from the Watchmen will be playing it too.
Yeah, so it's going to be concerts are back a little bit. I know your daughter's going out, Chris, and with Taylor, she's going out on something. So I think we're all pretty stoked about that. I know I am looking forward to getting out and seeing a show again.
I'm still staying. I'm more locked up at home than I've ever been because all the pages I'm doing right now. It's nuts, man. Like it's insane how busy I am. It's good though, but I'm not going anywhere for a while. I want to go mini golfing actually, and there's a mini golf place and a driving range where you drive out into you drive it out to a pond, the golf balls and stuff. So,
nice.
I want to go out and do that.
We went mini golfing on Father's Day actually. Yeah, we went mini golfing and I golfing.
Nobody's gone in a long time. Yeah, I know. I want to get out there and do some. I like.
You can tell that they didn't put much effort into it. Like the actual mini golf people were like, oh yeah. Marco's got to jump. Yeah, no problem, Marco. Good. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you hanging out and chilling. And you're welcome to jump back in on anything you want here. It's all
Thanks,
good.
Dude.
He should go spend some time with the wife because he's going to be playing video games.
For a while.
The next 6-7 hours, thanks to you.
That's right. Republic
Commando.
There it is.
Yeah. Cheers, buddy. High five. Virtual high 10. Yeah, great.
Marco, Andy, come back anytime, guys.
Yeah, take care, dudes.
Yeah, this
all good there. But Squadron for me. Have a great night, dudes. Thanks, Andy. No problem, buddy. Really appreciate you hanging out. Let's stay in touch, man. Get us on all the things and let us know what you're up to. Especially us Vancouver people. We got to stick together now.
Awesome. I feel a lot of negative Ontario vibes right now.
You know what? Wow. All you got to do, Mike, is
I know, right? Like,
Mike, all you got to do is move west. All right. And then you see the shit that we take out west about the east. And that's how it happens.
Nobody talks shit about Vancouver where I live. I don't know.
I am honestly waiting. I am honestly waiting for things to I don't want to say open up, but get back more to normal, that travel is considered more normal. Because I can't wait to get out to your side of the rock again. Because I had, I was going through, Facebook pictures and I found the shots when I came out to visit you, and
we one day,
which was, it was one day, but it was a kick-ass day and my first trip to Vancouver. So like that was mind-blowing, and I got to bring the boy with me, man. He's got to check it out. He's got to see life outside of Brantford, Ontario, and outside of Disney, which is the other place that we're already booked and ready to go. As soon as things lift, like the end of August, we're there. I, on the other hand, am hoping to be in Vegas
for SummerSlam,
and then I'll fly over to Orlando and meet up with the family. Like priorities, right? Got to get those right. So. But yeah, man, it's I feel like it's winding down. I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm seeing my buddies and their wives and their significant others getting their shots, and it's a good feeling vibe.
Chris, you got yours right. You got your first.
I just got one. No, I just got one. Just one. Had a BMX bike. I'm doing good. So, Mike, if Magnum TA, could have kept. If he could have kept wrestling,
yes,
it's a good one.
What do you think Vince would have did? Because he would have went to the WWF like back in the day, right? So what do you think would have happened to him? Yeah, so let's just say he did. What would have happened to him?
Wow, that's some serious fantasy booking. I say he would have been in the NWA for a while. Mm-hmm. He still would have. He would have been Sting before Sting.
Okay, they're all right.
I think the dude. He was that guy. When Vince got his hands on him, he would have been the early version of Billy Gunn. That's my guess. I figure he would have been. They would have brought him because he looked like Tom Selleck. He had that
totally
whole,
did,
Yeah.
and at
that
that
whole
time too,
cowboy
that's what
look
the
to
ladies
him.
liked,
Yeah.
right? Was the Tom Selleck look?
Yeah. He would
Well,
have.
think about Rick Rude, and you got Rick Rude and and in essence Jake Roberts both kind of looked like him.
Jake,
Yeah.
he had a little bit more of the.
Yeah, I think
the-
Rick
the
Rude.
hillbilly one.
Yeah, Rick Rude and Magnum TA would have been a little more. Yeah, a little more Magnum.
I'm
than-
talking about the long hair, mullet, mustache.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
kind of like what was going on because you had full beard Macho Man, full beard Billy Jack Haynes. That's 2 weeks in a row I've dropped that name. You had Corporal Kirshner with the baby face. You had who else had the mustache? Who else had a mustache then?
Back then.
Almost.
Smash. I think
One
Smash
time.
from Demolition, but there was a handful of mustache guys.
Yeah, Mike. Oh, so Mike, and here's another. So how about Gino Hernandez, who unfortunately passed away?
Oh,
But
Gino.
What about Gino? Because he would have went where the money was. He would have probably went right to Vince, right?
I don't know if he would have been Vince's cup of tea. I think he would have been another NWA guy for a while.
I've heard a couple preferences of saying that he would have been a great $1 Million Man because he was already like basically that was him.
Yeah,
And
he was styling and profiling, that whole vibe. It's cool, to sort of go back, and that's what I loved about having the network for a while. They had a lot of the old WCCW shows, like the World Class Championship stuff.
Yeah.
Von Erichs and I remember having like the old wrestling magazines, and back then that was the only way I knew of all this other stuff around there. And you would see like the Gino Hernandez, Chris Adams feud, and the Von Erichs and the Freebirds.
They'd be ranked in the back, like NW. They'd have their rankings for each league in the back pages there of who was ready for the belt next. And I love those magazines.
Well, it's crazy because Adam and I when I was it was maybe 2 weeks ago, I was sitting waiting to pick up Owen from his job, and I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting for him to come out, and somebody had posted a picture from the back of one of those Bill Apter mags, and they used to have the rankings. I'm like, so I'm texting Adam. He's like, dude, I remember we used to see who the champ was in Memphis, or Florida Championship Wrestling. And like, that's how you used to, you would get that magazine, be like, who's the number one tag team? Oh, it's always the Road Warriors, man. The Road Warriors. Maybe the Hart Foundation's going to do it. Maybe, and number two, so that's, and what I don't know, I guess it's kind of like seeing behind the curtain all these years later, finding out, and I'm sure it was pretty obvious back then, but all that stuff, all the stories in the magazines, like all those, Rick Steamboat thinking of leaving, and the reason why, those were all just made up. That was like the ultimate wrestling fan fiction by those by the contributors to those magazines, just taking the stories that the guys that were in the different feds and writing these stories that had nothing to do with what was actually going on. Hulk Hogan, Kamala didn't have Hulk Hogan's head on a stick, and there wasn't like this, the reason why Hulk Hogan was ducking Kamala because he was afraid he was going to be, beheaded and head shrunk type thing. So that kind of like that a little bit bummed me out, and I'm like, man, all these years I thought there was at least something real about that.
Especially when you read the stories about how Kamala and Hogan were like barbecuing together, and it's like, right? Wait, are you just getting his head ready on the barbecue, or what's going on? But that was the ultimate kid. Like, we were kids, so it was such an ultimate good guy, bad guy. It wasn't until what was your first mid-carder that you guys liked, that medium? Because we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Like, Hogan was so larger in life that I think he kind of brought all of us in. I think that whole thing, Hogan brought everything in, because when you're first programmed to watch wrestling as a kid, it was, these are your good guys, these are your bad guys.
Yeah.
And at the time, because movies are good and evil, bad, like, I think I have to say for myself, you're like, okay, so Hulk Hogan's the main good guy and Roddy Piper's the bad guy. And then like, that's what got you into the good turn, the heel turns and all the rest of it.
I was always amazed with, like, I wasn't a fan, like, oh my God, whenever Abdullah the Butcher was on when I was younger, because of those magazines, because you'd see the pictures of him and there's blood everywhere. And you're literally like, oh my God. that's Abdullah the Butcher. And you're like, that guy just cuts people.
He
And
uses a fork? What? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell is this? And then later you find out the guy's a complete piece of crap. You know what I mean? Like, he's giving people terrible diseases. But when I was younger, it was Abdullah because again, it would be visiting the States or whatever. You know what I mean? And you'd be leaving the motel room and like, oh my God, here's like wrestling that I don't get to see in Canada. And it was always, oh my God, it's Abdullah the Butcher because he didn't look like a wrestler. He looked like some deranged psycho that walked off the street, and there's always blood all over the place. So as a kid, he enamored me. Yeah, but the Road Warriors were my all-time favorite growing up. The Road Warriors, man, Road Warriors. Because they loved Kiss and they look like Kiss. That's where they got that from. They've admitted it over and over again. They saw Kiss, they were like, man, we got to do that. So Road Warriors.
Yeah, mid card. I just remember. I remember Tito Santana, man. He was the guy. Tito and Greg Valentine. And I'll never forget when they had the cage match where Tito won the belt from Greg the Hammer, and Greg just smashed the belt, like, because he's a big, being a suck about it, smashed the belt into the cage, deforming this, the Intercontinental Championship. And then they debuted what we would then know during the 80s was the familiar Intercontinental belt that Macho Man had, and Brett had. So I mean, that I remember that cage, and I'm like, this is like, and Tito just on his hands and knees with the belt, crying like, arriba.
Greg Valentine, he's a respectable dude, right? Like, I'm seeing interviews of him, like recent ones, and he seems like a pretty rad guy, and he looks like he kept it together. I don't know.
And funny, Greg Valentine. Here, I have a little story, and this goes back to the days when Adam and I were in college, and he would wrestle like in these little small Ontario towns, and we were at a show in Minden, Ontario. It was Minden, and Greg Valentine was the I don't want to say celebrity. He was like the ringer that came in, the old timer, big name draw type thing. And I remember thinking how sad it was after the show. He was sitting at one of those old school desks, the ones that had the chair attached, that, we were in public school, sitting at that to sign autographs after the show. And I think there may have been maybe 100, 150 people at the show total. And there's he's just sitting there, and there's nobody. And I'm thinking, man, like, this is the guy that I was like, but
when he's with Bruce Beefcake, man, you seen like new interviews with him. He always just looks like he's got it together, and he just, he seems pretty good for a guy who's been, beating the crap out of himself and other people all this. A
lot of those guys, they didn't make it, and some of the guys that did, it took a little while for them to sort of sort things out.
If you think about that too, on the Valentine thing too, and to your point, Mike, about him sitting alone. I remember when we did the Bret Hart Invitational a couple of years ago out at X Fest in Vancouver, or in Calgary, and I had to go. I had Jinder come, and we had Davey Boy Jr. And getting the breakdown of what these guys cost, it was pretty affordable. As far as like, if you're putting on an event, you can snag one of those kind of mid-carder guys for around $2,000, which is not too bad if you're doing like 100 people, 200 people at a thing, at an event. But I always feel like, looking at that, to your point, I saw the Honky Tonk Man do it a couple of years ago by my house, and no one came to see him. It's like, I get it. That's where the extra money is. But you know what? Go the other way and add the value add to the promoter and be like, listen, I know you're struggling. I was going to charge you $2,000. I actually want $3,000, but I'm going to sign everyone for free. I'm going to meet everybody for free. And I feel like that was a better experience for the promoter.
That would be way better. Yep.
And have the promoter be like, hey, listen, I'm going to pay you more. I don't want you to set up your autograph thing, unless it's like CM Punk coming to Cloverdale. Like, where he's going to make $100. I'm just talking about like your Magnum TAs,
the old legends, the old,
your guys that are like, because some of those guys, I mean, Jinder was making, you do 5-6 G's a weekend to do appearances. It's still a good living. That's a hell of a living still. You know what I mean? To kind of do it, but like to not sell autographs and just sign for everybody in the crowd, I feel like. And you're the promoter that offers that. Now all of a sudden, all your wrestling shows are selling out because they know every fan's going to meet meet the band. They're all going to meet it, and it's an
but
interesting.
I think and again, I don't know, but I think for some, it's it's the motivation of what it is, right? I mean, if the motivation is you want to make a couple grand on a weekend, and the promoter's flying you in, they're putting you up in a hotel, and they're paying you, and you get to charge money for your merch. I mean, it's a business. They, from that standpoint, they spent how many ever years back in the 80s, 90s, when they didn't have a lot of the luxuries that some of the younger guys and girls have now. They put their time in. They paid their dues. That's they're cashing in now. This is their retirement plan. To make a couple of bucks in their retirement years.
Yeah.
And some of them do it willingly. Some of them are, happy to do it because they genuinely love the fans, and they love,
the routine, right, of the traveling,
the contribution that they made to, there's a circle of appreciation, and some just do it because it's easy money. And
I can't wait for it to come up again, because man, we get them here, man. We had Bret Hart here just before everything hit. Tommy Dreamer. Excuse me. There was a whole bunch. Hacksaw Jim Duggan was here. Like, it was just like they were coming here, man. I just got into wrestling during COVID,
that was
right?
Chinlock wrestling. I remember that. Yeah.
Yes, Chinlock wrestling. That's what we have here, Mike.
Yeah, so, Jimmy Corderas and Art Cal, they came down for that, and I remember that. Oh, yeah.
So Chinlock wrestling, that's a cool thing. That's like a.
Yeah, that was a one-off a couple of years ago, and they brought in some pretty good names for it, and it was sponsored by Leon's. So again,
there you go. Well, that's our Chinlock is the one that runs the Kingston area here for wrestling. So that's another one.
I was going to say the owner, one of the owners of Leon's, or one of the bigwigs of Leon's, Louis Leon, guy I deal with. He's a huge wrestling fan, super huge wrestling fan. So yeah, it's.
Well, I can't wait for the guy to get going around here, because I'm really looking forward to going to meeting some wrestlers and just seeing some amateur wrestling going on. The younger guys starting out, man. I'm really looking forward to that. And one other wrestler I was going to ask you about, Mike, but we might have to wait, because we're pretty much out of time. But I think I'll lead into it, and we'll go into it next time. But did Test come up the same time as Edge?
Yes. Yeah, he was. Okay. I think he was in the same. I think he was part of the same Funkin' Dojo that Adam was at with Val Venus and.
Okay, right.
Glenn Kulka, who.
See, I forgot all about Test, and I was never a fan of him. Like, I respected him for sure, but I was never like, hey, yeah, it's Test. You know what I mean? Like, never.
Used to be a bouncer at our shows.
Yeah, exactly. So this was another thing I was going to bring up as he started out in the Ajax area. Yeah.
Andrew,
so I didn't know if
Andrew Martin. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's passed away. He took a bad turn there. But yeah, anyway, that's another one I wanted to ask you more. Were you around for that at all?
Yeah, Test not so much. Yeah, I don't remember too
much.
Him
and Adam weren't close or anything like
that.
Oh,
I'm sure they probably were.
But nothing that you. Okay, cool. I didn't know if that was going to be one of those ones like, oh, let me tell you.
No, there's no.
You never know, right? Because it's funny, because they came up such close proximity.
Yeah. Well,
but it's a tale of two stories, really. It's a tale of two ways that it could have went, and unfortunately for Test, it didn't go the way.
They were so similar. That's it. Yeah, they were very similar. Like, they could have been a tag team if something happened between Edge and Christian. I think they could have walked away with that being pretty cool, actually, because they're both huge dudes.
I was going to say it's funny because earlier tonight. On Sportsnet, they were running like classic NHL games. So it was the Flyers Montreal from '76, Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals. So I was just messaging Adam and saying like how great it is to watch some of these old games and compare the game then to the game now. And you hear some of the names like that were playing, Lafleur and Mahavlich and
dude,
and like just Dryden, Bob Gainey, the Lambert, like it was amazing. So, and then he sent me a picture that he saw, and he's like, I had never seen it. And it's a picture that somebody had posted of back when Adam was part of the SmackDown 6. And it's a shot of him and Rey Mysterio. Like he's launching Rey leapfrog, and Eddie's on the turnbuckle to get a Hurricanrana. And I'm like, man, like that was, we're watching this hockey, and like this is like classic hockey. And I'm like, this period of wrestling was really good. And we were saying like a lot of these guys, because Rene Robert passed away today, part of the French Connection.
I saw that.
And he was 73. And Adam goes, it's crazy to think like these guys that we, watched and heard, like these athletes when we were kids, now they're dying. And I'm like, dude, you're now getting in the ring with guys and girls that were kids when you were a rookie. So, it's that same like aged thing. Like now a lot of these kids that looked up to you are looking up to you the same way that, we looked up to like Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair and, Macho Man.
Like, are they looking up or are they looking on their phones?
Looking on individual, phone? Right?
Yeah, on their Twitch streams, that's what they're doing. But
and just on another side, where you're mentioning Adam, I found two more characters that they're talking about that he could possibly play.
Oh,
if Mr. Sinister makes a play in the X-Men coming up, I think he could do a pretty rad Mr. Sinister, and he's a huge villain. But I think his facial features, and there's another one that's coming up. And this is more with the Mephisto side of things that could go in with Doctor Strange, and that's Belasco. And he also has a tie with the X-Men, but another huge villain has a tie with a whole bunch of other ones they're talking about possibly coming in. But anyway, Belasco and Mr. Sinister, villains again, right? Two more villains. I was thinking Sabretooth at first.
Yeah,
but there's got to, with his jaw, there's got to be a superhero that would be.
I'm telling you, like he will at some point. He's going to come on the show, and this is exactly what we'll have to discuss. We will have to guide his career in the Marvel universe.
There you go.
Or the DC universe.
I've got the perfect role for him. I want him actually in the Spaceball sequel as Lone Star and Princess Vespa's son. Okay. So because Bill Pullman looks a little, and it's like, well, we've got this, and then he comes raging in, and So I'm going with that. I want him in the Spaceball sequel.
Okay.
I heard rumblings that Melissa McCarthy was going to be Mog's daughter.
Oh, jeez.
Deadly.
Just please don't.
Anyways.
No, don't mess with.
They're going there to search for more money. Mel Brooks said it was happening.
He did.
That's coming.
That's fair enough. All right, boys.
It's that time of the show.
I can always tell my legs are getting sore.
I have an answer this week.
Where can we find you now?
You can now find me or hear me at Cineplex Theaters in the West Coast. Thankfully, now that you're back to seeing movies live, you'll be able to hear me there. And again, yes, shouts to my peeps at Chorus and Showcase, baby. It's exciting. So, yeah, if you hadn't had enough of me yet, you're gonna get more of me now. So, thank you very much.
To the point where we were in the movie and my daughter looked at me and she's like, "Is that Mike again?" Yep.
That's
awesome.
it.
Congratulations, Mike. That's
awesome. To quote the legendary Venus flytrap from the WKRP episode where they do the drinking on air. On the air, I am the air. So,
I love it. Cop's got a hat. I want a hat.
Yeah, nice lid, Art. Nice lid. Guys,
Mike, congrats to you and your wife and Carolyn on the graduation of yet another child.
Oh, I didn't know where that was going for a second there.
Yeah, good. Yeah, no. Trust me. If there's one sequel that ain't happening, it's that.
That was a lead-in for it. That was a lead-in for a sequel, Mike. I was like,
well, it's good. I mean, Carolyn's been able to stay out of jail from cornering Eddie Vedder, so she's got all the time in the world now. So, anyway.
Props to my daughter, Jules. Smartest kid in her graduating class. Don't know where she got that from because it's
well done, younglings. You are the future.
Give her time. Give her time, Mike. Give her time.
Yeah, it's true enough. Boys, till next week, we'll see you.
Cheers,
thanks, buddy.
See you, Mike.
See you in a while, man.
There we go. You did another one. I was like, I always tell when we get near the end when my ass starts getting sore. Yeah, there's Skeletron. So we'll start advertising issue 2 here in the next few days. We're just finishing up. Wow, so much stuff. It's awesome.
Hold on a second. Keep talking.
Well, okay. So Skeletron number 1 is out. A couple issues left. Go to Etsy.com and you type in Machete Comics, but it's one word. Don't separate the two words. And you will find there might be a couple left on there, I think. And if you live in Kingston, go down to Nexus Comics. There's a couple down there. Other than that, we're running out. Sold out.
Yes, there's one in Vancouver. And it's
there you go, buddy. I got one.
Look at that. Lonnie Cochran, Chris Cochran. You didn't go with your stage name, but here we are.
No. It's got to be. That's legit.
I know that. It's beautiful, man. I haven't even opened it.
Well, and it came with the
little
stick. Yeah, there came with the sticker
little
and
stickers on the back
insert
and all the
card.
rest of it.
Amazing. Didn't you get some other goodies in there too?
I did. Just got them over there, but I did. I got
Let's go. Some of those are for the kids, right? Like some of the stuff in there's for the kids as well. How about that
Yes,
Batman?
fine.
See that Batman Superman comic?
I know. It's deadly. I love it.
What, Lonnie? You didn't put it in there? Okay, Lonnie's saying things and I have the headphones on. I can't quite hear her.
Yeah,
it's here.
I got it. I got it here too. I was just showing this off. I can show those off.
Oh no, I was just saying that's awesome. Yep. Everybody's they're landing all over. I've sold a bunch in the States, and the furthest we've gone is Australia.
Well, come on now. That's the best.
It's great. No, I'm just saying, like, people are buying it who I don't know, and that's what you want, right? So issue 2 will be out next month. I've written up to issue 4. We're all ready to go. And then after issue 4, we are heading towards the animated segment. And then I'm either going to, Yetis. Hey, Yeti! And then I'm either going to go into second printings or continue off issue 5. It's all out there, man.
We are going to thank our friends. They're right here with blue microphones. My Yetis, which I didn't plug in. So anyways, there it is. But Yeti, thank you, friends at Blue Microphones, for all your help. We are going to run a little promo brought to you by Lonnie, who made this.
Speed Bus.
And we got to thank our friends that stopped by today. Andy and Marco, creators of Bucketheads. Isn't that the coolest thing, man? It's just the coolest.
It's really good. Like, it's really good.
It's really well done. And I just remember seeing it at Expo, being like, what the hell is this? These are just guys that, around that just made this thing. And I think it's a bonus, that they're such big fans and they're in the film industry. So they had obviously some help from their friends, which is great. They got a Patreon page, which we'll post on all the things. Definitely you guys want to support that. Hopefully get a walk on roll and get kicked in the balls. That'd be great.
That'd be great.
But fun stuff there. So yeah, that's another great one, man. That was a lot of fun. Those guys are awesome. And
they have really cool program there they're doing. Fantastic.
Mike, thanks again, buddy. Congrats on the new gig. And
cheers, Mike.
And, we'll hear you in our ears on that. That is Chris Machete. I am
Hello.
Brenton, the other guy. That is Kids on the Escalator for another Tuesday night. We're not sure what's on the docket for just yet, but it's going to be something great for next week.
Like my cat. Where's my cat? There's my cat.
There's the cat. I like how you changed the scenery today. It's nice.
Yeah, we did. Everything's over there now. There's Lonnie. Yeah. Get in there, Lonnie. Yeah, Lonnie. Lonnie. There's Lonnie.
Woo. That's Lonnie. Hire her for all your graphics and everything. She's rad.
Oh, she's busy right now, actually.
All right, don't hire her then.
Dude, honestly, we're busy for a while, which is good though. But you could hire her, but she'd say 2 months. So
good times.
Red dude.
Yeah.